In 2010, I entered an AI contest, the Google AI Challenge, sponsored by the University of Waterloo, where you had to program light cycles. You know, like in Tron. Everybody knows Tron, right? My autonomous light cycle did okay, somewhere in the middle of the rankings, but I had a lot of fun. So after it was over, I wanted to continue to explore the concept of AI and trying to write better algorithms to be intelligent. So I just started, and I started writing things that I thought were intelligent until it dawned on me, how do I know if they're intelligent? Is the Python script that I wrote to control my light cycle actually intelligent in the same way that we are intelligent? Or is it just an algorithm, like a calculator, which isn't intelligent? Or is it? What is intelligence? I got pretty far before I realized that I had no idea if what I was writing was actually intelligent or not intelligent. Is everything intelligent? Is nothing intelligent? I stopped. I took a breath. And I decided that I would not go back to exploring AI until I could say definitively what intelligence is. Because otherwise, I'm just writing random stuff. I'm not writing AI. So, of course, what do? You go online and you're like, Google, what is intelligence? It was extremely unhelpful. It seemed like nobody was quite certain what it was. And yet, so many people are writing and using AI. As far as I can tell, nobody agrees on what the I stands for. So what is AI? Well, I think we know what the A is. It stands for artificial. The term artificial has some negative connotations. It means fake or imitation, but not real. Like when I buy a frozen pizza, I look to make sure that it has real cheese, not artificial cheese. Gross. Because cheese is natural. Or is it? I mean, it doesn't like grow on a cheese tree. Is cheese artificial too? I mean, maybe. Cheese isn't natural. It's real. It exists. But so are things that we create. All right, maybe we don't know what the word artificial means either. I always like to start when I'm searching up meanings of words to Webster's 1913. It is a public domain dictionary, and it is so nicely done. Unfortunately, it is a little archaic, but the concept of artificial should be the same as it was in 1913. Artificial, made or contrived by art. Art is an artificial, produced or modified by human skill and labor, in opposition to natural as artificial heat or light, gems, salts, minerals, fountains, flowers. Okay, I get that. Oh, I see the problem here. The second definition is feigned, fictitious, assumed, affected, not genuine. Like most words, there are multiple meanings. We should stick with the number one meaning. I don't know if I want to judge that artificial intelligence is fake intelligence or not. Artificial is simply created by human skill and labor, like an artifact. In archaeology, you'll find stone tools, potsherds, and other stuff. These are archaeological artifacts. So let's get back to the cheese. Is cheese artificial? Yeah. It's created by people. It takes people a lot of skill and talent to be able to create good cheese, as compared to artificial cheese, which is imitation cheese, which is, I think I went off the rails a bit. What point was I trying to make? Let's talk about a different property, flight. Airplanes are artifacts created by people, and they fly, but do they artificially fly? I mean, it is flight that comes from an artifact, so I guess planes are artificially flying. That doesn't sound safe at all. Do you want to fly artificially? We don't say that airplanes have imitation flight or artificial flight. They just fly. It's a property. It's a physical property of an airplane that it can travel through the air. Just like it's a physical property of a bird if it's flying through the air. Though birds aren't created by people. They are created by nature. So that's natural. Artificial. Okay. I'm starting to feel like I have a grasp on the A part. Artificial simply means created by people. Natural means created by nature. Neither one is good or bad, just about the source of the property. But the property we are talking about isn't flight, it's intelligence. So what is that property? And does my Python script have that property or not? Does a calculator have that property? Does a person? What about a cat? A tree? A Tamagotchi? Chess programs? Are some of these intelligent and others not intelligent? I guess we're right back to where we started. We will have to define intelligence in some way that we can test it. We can have a definition and apply it to these different things, and it will clearly tell us what is intelligence and what is not intelligent. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I shouldn't be in a position where I have to determine what intelligence is. This is a word that has existed for thousands of years. Somebody should know what it is, right? But when you take a look into academic fields that explore aspects of intelligence, you do not find a lot of consensus. Even in biology, there's behavioral science and neuroscience, ecology, neurology, and medicine that all take different approaches to intelligence. But even outside of that, computer science and AI, philosophy addresses many aspects of intelligence and consciousness, logic and mathematics, psychology, education. They all seem to use different definitions, they use different terms, and they approach it from different perspectives. Well, which one is right, if any? Or are they all talking about the same thing, just using slightly different terms? That is a really good question. Luckily for me, I discovered some very nice work by Shane Legg and Marcus Hutter, published in 2007. The paper's A Collection of Definitions of Intelligence and Universal Intelligence, a Definition of Machine Intelligence. These researchers did a terrific job of summarizing the problem and offering solutions to the definition of intelligence. In their paper on universal intelligence, the abstract starts with this sentence. A fundamental problem in artificial intelligence is that nobody really knows what intelligence is. Thank you for proving I'm not crazy. It's not just me. There seems to be a problem of everybody willy-nilly doing intelligence research, and nobody has even bothered to create a rigorous definition. All right, I found some very good resources here. Let's take a look through them and see what they got. In A Collection of Definitions of Intelligence, they have over 70 definitions of intelligence that they found in dictionaries, from psychologists, and from AI researchers. And they also assert their own definition of intelligence. Let's take a look at a few. The American Heritage Dictionary says intelligence is the capacity to acquire and apply knowledge. Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary claims intelligence is the ability to learn, understand, and make judgments or have opinions that are based on reason. Okay, wow. These definitions are pretty ambiguous, and they seem to use a lot of words that also need definitions. Let's scroll down to the psychologists. Their definitions are probably a little more rigorous. Intelligence is not a single unitary ability, but rather a composite of several functions. The term denotes that combination of abilities required for survival and advancement within a particular culture. That's interesting. I definitely like this one better than the dictionaries. That facet of mind underlying our capacity to think, to solve novel problems, to reason, and to have knowledge of the world. Oh boy, yeah, that's starting to sound a little fuzzy there. Let's see if we can find something better. We shall use the term intelligence to mean the ability of an organism to solve new problems. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty sciencey. Here's my favorite one. Intelligence is what is measured by intelligence tests. Oh, good grief. That must be facetious. I'm not going to read all of these to you. You can go read them yourselves. So let's push all the way down to what the AI researchers have to say. See how different it is from the dictionaries and psychologists. The ability of a system to act appropriately in an uncertain environment, where appropriate action is that which oh God. Okay, let's try a smaller one. Achieving complex goals in complex environments. Well, it's brief. I'll give it that. The ability to solve hard problems, Marvin Minsky. Cuts right to the chase there. I like it. That might be my favorite one so far. Yeah, okay. These are interesting, worth reading, worth pondering. At the end, the authors posit their own definition of intelligence, which is nice. They claim intelligence measures an agent's ability to achieve goals in a wide range of environments. Now we have over 70 definitions of intelligence. Which one's the right one? Are any of them correct? How do we know? Oh my gosh. I started wanting to drill down to get the definition of intelligence. Now I have to drill down and figure out what makes a good definition. I suppose that makes sense. Maybe let's take Legg Hutter's definition and go back to my original problem, which is my Python script to play light cycles intelligent or not intelligent? Intelligence measures, okay, I don't want a measurement. This definition, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I know it's not answering my question. I'm not trying to determine an amount of intelligence. I would like a binary kind of definition, a classification. True or false. Is something intelligent or is it not intelligent? Whenever you're talking about a measure, it seems like we first have to assume intelligence. Then we can compare two intelligent objects to each other. This whole problem goes back to we are assuming if something is intelligent or it is not intelligent instead of using a rigorous test. Maybe there's something else here. Agent's ability to achieve goals. The light cycle has a goal to travel as far as possible without crashing in a wide range of environments. Well, light cycles only have one environment, don't they? I suppose they have different opponents. Is an opponent a different environment? I don't know. I can't say. I guess I'd better define what it is that I want. Then I'll be able to better judge if a definition solves my problem or not. So what I would really like is a definition, not a measure, of whether something has intelligence or not. And I would like that to be able to tell down to the tiniest bit of intelligence. Clearly, some things are more intelligent than others, but what is the least intelligent something can be, yet still have intelligence? Is a bacteria intelligent? A light switch? A thermostat? A calculator? The bots that post on Twitter? I don't know. But I would hope, no, I would demand that any definition of intelligence is able to be used to find the smallest possible amount of intelligence. An atom of intelligence, I suppose it would be, and it needs to be a good definition as well. I suppose all definitions should have certain qualities. In my opinion, they need to be unambiguous. I require a definition of intelligence that does not use other words that require rigorous definitions. Otherwise, we're just going down a rabbit hole. It's definitions all the way down. All of the words in the definition must be clearly defined and unambiguous. The properties of the definition should all be observable. There can be no ineffable sort of properties. It feels like sort of a thing. No, these have to be clearly observable, and that's a tall order, because so much of our intelligence is really just who knows what's going on up here. Unfortunately, we can't measure that. So it has to be something about behavior, or something that is objectively observable. Next, it needs to be testable. So we should be able to take certain things that we feel are classified by the definition and certain things that we feel are definitely not classified and test them. And there shouldn't be any false negatives or false positives. For example, if I was defining the term cat, and I said, okay, a cat is a small, four-legged, furry creature. Then I said, what about this dog? Is that a cat? That's a small, four-legged, furry creature. That would be a false positive. Or if I said, well, what about a tiger? They're not small, therefore tigers are not cats. You can see how that definition doesn't work. We should definitely make a list of some things that we all agree are intelligent and not, and maybe a few in a gray area so we can go back and check all of these. Let's say our things that we want to test with: people, an average person. We all should agree that an average person is intelligent. All definitions of intelligence should say that the average Joe is intelligent. On the other side, let's pick, a rock. Pretty sure we all agree rocks are not intelligent. Now let's pick a few trickier ones. I like to look at the octopus. Scientists largely agree that octopuses are very intelligent, but in almost every other way, they are completely unlike us. Our most common ancestor was probably a worm, something without a brain or even eyes. All of the central nervous system, all of the main sensory organs of an octopus have evolved completely separately from people. If we're being a little too biased against non-human creatures, maybe that will catch some of these. And also, let's pick a calculator. That sounds good. And lastly, parsimony, or Occam's razor. If any part of a definition can be removed, but the definition still works, well, then it should be removed. Also, let's not make up any words. I know scientists, we love to name things after ourselves, but I'm pretty sure we should be able to accomplish this with all normal dictionary definitions. That way, if a person reads it, then it'll be obvious what it means. Let's check this Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary. The words I see in here: learn, understand, make judgments, have opinions, and reason, are all terms that really need further definition. I mean, maybe it's correct. I suppose it depends on all of those definitions of all of those words. Also, how do we observe something in making a judgment or having an opinion? That seems a little difficult to observe. Now let's see how it does with our test examples. People. I think that the ability to learn, understand, make judgments, all that, yeah, people do that. Okay. Does a rock do that? I guess that's harder to say. Do rocks have opinions? I don't know how you could tell. Yeah, this is not very observable. It does seem like rocks probably don't have these things, but it'd be nice for it to be a little more definitive. All right, how about an octopus? Octopuses seem to be quite good at learning and understanding their environment based on reason. If you don't believe me, please watch Mark Rober's Octopus versus Underwater Maze. Lastly, a calculator. The ability to learn, understand, and make judgments or have opinions that are based on reason. I mean, a calculator kind of can learn. It has memory. You could put information in it. It seems to understand numbers and calculate things correctly. Yeah, this is not very good. Let's pick a random psychologist one. Let's try number 4. We shall use the term intelligence to mean the ability of an organism to solve new problems. Not ambiguous. There are no weird terms in this. I like that. That's a big win. Is it observable? Yes, we should be able to observe an organism solving problems. Now let's test it. Humans can solve new problems. Rocks can't. An octopus can solve problems. A calculator can solve problems. Oh, we were so close. Yeah, that's all it does. I keep typing new problems into it, and it solves them. That was pretty good, though. That was really close. Let's see if any of the AI researcher definitions get any better. How about achieving complex goals in complex environments? There's no fancy words in there that I think need redefinition. Though there is a problem. How complex is it? How do you judge complexity? If something has simple goals, does that mean it's not intelligent? That complex, I think it needs a little stricter definitions. It's observable. Humans seem to apply. Rocks do not. Octopuses achieve complex goals. And the calculator achieves complex goals. We seem to be falling apart when we get to any kind of calculation machine. I would assume that some calculations are of an intelligent type and other calculations are not. None of these definitions seem to address that. Finally, Legg and Hutter's. All the words seem clear, nothing fancy here. It all appears to be observable. Let's test it. Humans qualify. Rocks do not. Octopuses, sure, they qualify. A calculator? Well, I'm not sure if I could say either way. That's our best one so far. What was my last quality of good definitions? Yes, parsimony. Let's see, can we take anything out of this but keep the same meaning? Could we scratch out in a wide range of environments and not lose anything? Honestly, an agent's ability to achieve goals, I think that's all we really need. I'm not sure what the wide range of environments really brings to this definition. We've got a lot of definitions here. None of them seem to really nail what I would like in a definition and what I feel is a good definition. And there doesn't seem to be any way to know which one is right. I guess we need to step back again and see if we could figure out what the heck's going on. When I'm really confused, when there is a very complicated problem and there's all sorts of information and I'm not sure which to look at or even where to start, what works well is to focus on the parts that you know for certain. One of the few things I believe nearly everyone agrees on about intelligence is that it is a quality that we have, human beings. We have intelligence. In fact, this is what Turing used in his imitation game. It was very clever of him. He was a smart guy. Alan Turing wrote an article called On Computing Machinery and Intelligence. And in this, he addresses whether or not he believes that machines can also be intelligent. Now, he did a little trick here. He never defined intelligence, which is smart because you can see how much trouble we're having, so he just skipped over that. And knowing that we all agree that humans are intelligent, he created the imitation game, which is if we cannot tell the difference between a human's behavior and a machine's behavior, then we have to conclude that the machine is also intelligent. Yeah, it's pretty smart, really. Unfortunately, it is specifically to humans, and we need a definition that is going to help us identify intelligence in things that are not human. So, if we all agree that humans are intelligent, what do we know about humans? Where did our intelligence come from? Humans are biological organisms. Because of this, we all follow the laws of natural selection and evolution. Our brain, our minds, every part of us was created through the process of natural selection over billions of years. And what do we know about evolution? One of the few things that we are absolutely certain about evolution, Charles Darwin wrote in The Origin of Species. If it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous, successive, slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down. To me, this means if we know humans are intelligent, and we know intelligence must have come about, as Darwin put it, numerous successive slight modifications, well, then we should be able to track down every single stage of complex intelligence all the way back to a very simple type of intelligence. This also implies that there's no clear dividing point where something becomes, intelligent enough or significantly intelligent. It is a gradient. It has to be a gradient. Okay, so where are we now? Have we figured out what intelligence is? Let's take another step back. And let's think about intelligence in terms of behavior. The Cambridge Dictionary defines behavior as the way that a person, an animal, a substance, etc., behaves in a particular situation or under particular conditions. That seems to be pretty good. There is other definitions of behavior, but this is the one that we want in this instance. It mentions animals and substances. Well, I have a substance right here. It's rock. Let's test its behavior in a particular situation or conditions. I'll poke it. Fascinating. It appears that the rock has behaviors that can be described purely through its physical properties, that it's smooth, it rolls, falls. My guess is if I poked it in the same way again, it would fall a similar way. Not going to be a lot of surprises there. But instead, if I poked something... Oh, here we go. If we took one of these things and we poked him, hey, poke. That's fascinating. I did not predict that he would do that. That's kind of a different thing. I mean, little guy here, he has many different actions. He could have responded in countless ways, but yet he chose to respond in one way. How? I mean, I assume there must be a mechanism inside this animal somewhere to choose its actions. So the way that I see the difference between the rock and the cat is that the cat had multiple choices. The rock had very little choice. It merely had to behave in a way dictated by its conditions. The cat, poke a different cat, may not be so nice. Also, the animal appeared to have some kind of intention. It was trying to accomplish something. I don't know if it was to be friendly or maybe mark its scent on me. I'm not sure. It had some sort of agenda. Those cats are sneaky and they have plans. And because of that, there must be some kind of device inside of their bodies that is tasked with making these kind of choices in order to choose its actions to further its own goals. And knowing that, maybe we can come up with a definition of intelligence based on behavior. If we have a non-intelligent behavior and intelligent behavior, he's wandered off. The difference between those two should be intelligence. The differences that I see are choosing from different options and some kind of goal. and to do that, some kind of mechanism to choose those actions. So let's write that down. Let's say intelligence is a mechanism that uses sensory information to choose an action with the aim to accomplish a goal. Yeah, that's not bad. That's similar to some of the better ones. Maybe we can clean it up a little. Remember Occam's razor. Let's get rid of mechanism. Make it just using sensory data to choose an action with the aim to accomplish a goal. Wait, we don't need with the aim. Let's just say to accomplish a goal. Let's double check the key words. I don't want them to be controversial. I want to make sure that they have accepted common definitions. I guess the key one is goal. In Webster's 1913, it defines goal in the second definition as the final purpose or aim, the end to which a design tends, or which a person aims to reach or accomplish. Yeah, Webster pretty much nailed it, as he often does. So that is good. What else? Can we cut this down even more? Do we need the using sensory data? It's hard to imagine a lot of intelligence without some kind of input with which to make a decision on how to act, but is that a deal breaker? Could there be actions that are chosen without sensory information? Maybe an action is chosen randomly, or an action is chosen based on pi or phi or e. That is certainly possible. And I wouldn't expect most behaviors to be decided this way. But if a behavior was decided without sensory information, would that make the creature unintelligent? No. This hurts, but let's get rid of it. Let's just say intelligence is choosing an action to accomplish a goal. I don't know if I could strip that down any farther. Well, let's test it a little. Human. We choose actions to accomplish a goal. Cat, octopus. Okay. The rock, it does not seem to have any choices, nor does it appear to have any goals. A calculator. A calculator does not choose actions, does it? It only has one possible solution. For every sequence of buttons that you put into a calculator, you will only get one result. It can't choose based on other input. It is a machine. One input to one output. That one works. It's short, too. I'm giving myself points for that. Does this fit with Legg and Hutter's work? I don't think it contradicts it. I'm pretty sure it fits in with the rest of the definitions. In fact, in their paper on universal intelligence, just before they give their definition of intelligence, there is a sentence that says, "The most important thing is that the individual is able to carefully choose their actions in a way that leads them to accomplishing their goals." Why didn't they go with that? Now, that is the definition I have been looking for. Anything can be improved, but I'm pretty happy with that. I also like it's not specific to either common use or biology or psychology or computer science. These are general terms that should be able to apply to almost any perspective. And I think that's important because when we have so many different academic disciplines looking at intelligence from very different lenses, it makes it difficult to share. What one discipline discovers isn't easily understood by another discipline. And by sharing common terminology, we could much better combine forces and tackle what may be the most interesting mystery in all of human science. What is intelligence and how does it work? After all of the work we put into developing this definition of intelligence, what does it give us? What kind of insights or use does it have? Let's apply it to some speculative ideas about artificial intelligence, starting with artificial general intelligence. Now, this is a belief that there's some kind of universal consciousness that can solve all problems. Well, if we look at our definition of what intelligence is in service to a specific goal. And I imagine that there are algorithms that are very effective in solving wide arrays of problems, but not all goals are the same. There's no reason to think that one type of intelligence can be equally as effective in solving every single goal as compared to an intelligence that is specifically designed to solve a very particular goal. So using this definition, I don't know if artificial general intelligence is really something that we can expect to see or even want. Another thing that we think of is a disembodied consciousness, maybe a spirit, or there is this concept of a Boltzmann brain, which is just an intelligence randomly coming into being for no reason. Because our definition specifically requires actions, I don't think a disembodied spirit would be able to be intelligent because it can't manipulate its surroundings. Lastly, what does this mean to IQ, or intelligence measuring? I think we have to go back to what we were saying about general intelligence, is that intelligence is specific to a goal. Comparing two different intelligences, yes, if they have the same goal maybe, but they might not have access to the same actions, or they might use very different tactics. So it seems like measuring intelligence is sort of comparing apples and oranges, is the phrase. I don't see a clear way of measuring one universal general term of intelligence if we consider intelligence is choosing actions to accomplish a goal. And I'm not saying these things are true. I'm just saying that this is what we would have to conclude if we did accept this definition of intelligence as correct. I made another video. I think this one's better than the first one. So that's good. If this trend continues in a couple of years, my videos will be amazing. It occurred to me that some of you might be interested in meeting my adorable little science assistant. So here he is. This is Rock. Rock is a Euperlite found on the shores of Lake Superior. It's called a Euperlite because they fluoresce under fluorescent light. If you found this video interesting, well, then I have good news for you. I have lots more like this lined up. So please check back again soon. And until then, please care for yourselves and make good decisions. Hey, okay, we're just going to do an experiment. It's all right. It's okay. All right. Fascinating.